Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, mm, first I'm trying to wait until the numbers, after the first 15, 20 seconds, and I can sit there and curse. I feel like hell is freezing over way too often. We all know what I'm about to sit there and talk about, right? Now, I've made it no secret that I do not like Spencer, right? I don't. But me disliking him has never really made me biased about certain situations that have gone on with him. I look at this situation with him and Trina and Portia, and I'm gonna be honest. This man has money, he has looks. Why is he dealing with such a messy situation? Hmm? Why is he dealing with such a messy situation like with Portia and Trina? And granted, although I don't feel like Trina should be punished for her mother's trashy ass behavior, right? But I feel like it's just a messy situation, and I don't understand how any person that actually has a brain would want to continue to sit there and deal with this. Okay, the way that Portia was acting was just like, God damn, woman, I don't even like this guy, but you are just. I mean, he was just there to sit there and help her with the boxes and stuff. And afterwards he was, let me tell you something, he was way more gracious than he should have been with her. Okay, he was way more gracious than he should have been with her, because if that was me, I would have gave her the same energy back and then some. Okay, I would have sat there and been like, you know what, if that's the case, next time she needs something move, you can do it. You can sit there and lug those heavy ass boxes. Come on, girl. I literally would have sat there and just dropped the box. You know what? You pick it up. You deal with that. She used her, well, she used her husband as a reason, as a way to guilt him into leaving. She tried to use his uncle Sonny as a way to sit there and try to guilt him to not wanting to be around Trina. And I'm just like, I get that you are having problems with your marriage and everything. And some of that is on you, some of that's on Curtis, let's be honest. But instead of you sitting there taking out your nasty ass attitude on him, why don't you work on fixing your own marriage? Because I feel like it's not fair for her to sit there and lash out on him because you're sitting there dealing with a messy situation that, in a lot of ways, that you caused. Wow. Like I said, hell has been freezing over way too often, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes situations like this, it's just like, Spencer, you don't need that. You do not need that. Okay. I'm not saying that Esme is perfect. Okay. She has done some terrible things, right? Drugging Trina, framing Trina, videotaping Josh and Cam in a very intimate moment. Hell, I'm not even saying she needs to be your option. But for the show's purpose, as opposed to dealing with that messiness with Portia and her nonsense, nah, he's good. He definitely don't need to be snipped at putting up with that. That is absolutely insane. Um, watching Gregory in this scene, throwing the axe scene and everything like that, and Alexis just having a good time because she was upset about some sort of article or something that no one is really gonna really care to remember. But they went out axed on because they still got the set. So after she calmed down, and there's a way to sit there and throw an axe. It's like you can win a throw an axe with all the aggression in the world, but if you don't know how to actually like the way that he was doing it was like he's not a pro, but you can't just be wildly throwing axes like you're in some sort of action movie. But she eventually she got it and she had a good time and everything, and of course his ALS started acting up, and that he was really angry about how his body was just failing him, and I felt for him. Okay, it was a sad scene. It wasn't a tear. I don't. Here's the thing: when it comes to these soaps, I personally do not get choked up on nearly anything. Um, it just doesn't work for me. I feel like maybe just the whole genre in general is just very melodramatic in a lot of ways. So it's like when stuff like that happens, just like that's sad. But the whole Liam situation with Sasha was probably the only time, and maybe the Oscar scene towards the end. Not the Oscar scene itself, but when Lila and Edward came to take him to heaven and stuff. That kind of got me a little bit. But for the most part, they don't really generally tend to do anything. When I sit there and I look at Gregory's scene, right, it's just a waste. It's an absolute waste. It's almost I don't want to sit there and say a tragedy, but it's just like how do you mess up that much, right? From my understanding, it seemed like they brought in Gregory for Alexis, be a love interest, right? I would see snippets here and there of Nancy talking about working with this guy and having a crush on him and everything. Now, at one point, they sit there and try to hook those two up. I'm starting to wonder if the show actually has some sort of bias against her. Um, because you really think about it, it's like Julie Jerome was like her last great love interest, right? And then we went to that guy who was on Stargate SG-1 or one of those Stargate shows. And the way that they killed him off was just like, well, they just killed him off. And I don't even remember. And then they have Finn. We saw how that went. And then you bring in Finn's dad. And that's just all weird and messy and everything, right? That's just all sorts of gross. But then you don't even actually hook those two up. And then you decide to give him, something terminal like LS. And then I sit there and ask myself, what did you really bring him in there for? Was he some sort of buffer zone between trying to write something else that's really interesting and just putting him out there? Because it was a waste. And I can sit there and literally count. I mean, there's other people that's been a waste, like Brandon. Like, bring back um, Sean. I love General Hospital. I do. Okay? I may sit there and criticize it, and I may criticize it harder than other people. And, I can sit there and admit there's times I've been a dick, with me being criticizing the show to some extent. But I generally do love the show. I've watched this in high school. Okay? When I see certain things, I can't just sit there and just give it a pass. In this Gregory situation, I can't give it a pass. I just can't do it. It just sucks. I the scene with Olivia and Carly, and particularly Olivia apologizing to Carly for snapping on her, and Carly just being like, "No, it's okay. You had to snap on somebody." Nah, that don't work for me. It just doesn't. I can't just give people a pass for just snapping other people because they're emotionally distraught about something. I just won't do it. Won't do it. Other than that, I didn't really care about the flashback. They talk about Ned and the situation again, and well, I really cared very little about it, so a lot of that stuff just kind of went over my head. Dante and Jordan snitchy talking about the shooting didn't really go anywhere for the umpteenth time. And I'm also just like, don't you got like mayor stuff to do, Jordan? Why are you just kind of hanging out at the police station for? Hat Daddy and Curtis playing Goldfish was nice, you know. Um, One of the things that does kind of annoy me sometimes is when somebody comes in and they see somebody in a really bad situation, and they're like, "Well, why don't you think about some of the stuff that you can do?" That sounds good in theory, right? But he's not there yet, and I'm glad that he did switch tactics into being like, "Hey, you know, let's just play goldfish." And I understand that Curtis did it to humor Hat Daddy, and at this point, I'm saying Hat Daddy. I think at this point we all know who Hat Daddy is. um, yeah, it's just the whole. Well, think about the stuff that you can do. Be grateful that you're still alive. Be grateful that you're still alive. Sometimes that actually pisses me off too. Be grateful that you're still alive because there's being alive and then there's living. Oh, and Trina was there. Trina was not there talking to Portia about why the reason Portia moved back in, thinking about Curtis, and Portia just being her usual trashy ass self. Um, Jordan coming in there talking to Curtis, it really didn't go too much of anywhere. I felt like the scene was just like, eh. It's like they tried to find. I would enjoy the scene more with her and Zeke than Jordan and Curtis. It just didn't really do much for me, to be honest. And of course, you had Nina and Sonny talk about the wedding date and or talk about maybe actually making a wedding date. Talking about Carly and Olivia and how they got to run into each other and it's going to be what it's going to be. The whole conversation seemed like it was just pointless, to be honest. The only thing that can actually be takeaway scene is that uh, Nina was on point today. I don't know what they was thinking doing with the makeup department, but she was on point today. That is literally the only takeaway point that I actually have from that whole scene. Other than that, it doesn't really go anywhere. I feel like that's about it. I can't really think of anything else. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. As usual, if I miss anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I said this in my B&B review, so I'll sit there and say it in this review. I know that the live streams, as fun as they've been, has gotten to a point where there's just been a lot of drama, a lot of people being just I don't want to say troublemakers, but just being like, you know, ish starters. And I've been going far too long and not putting that ish in check, right? And I'm done with it. I've been encouraging people to come in, and then people have just been acting like fools. And that ish is going to stop. Okay. I know I'm still new at this, and there's certain things I've given certain people tolerances, allowances, whatever you want to sit there and call it. That ish is coming to an end. I want these live streams to be fun, exciting, and although I can't sit there, basically I'm trying to be better at it. Is what I'm generally saying. There's a fine line between debating and healthy debating, just having a good time to just arguing and fighting, and that's just something that I'm just not going to continue to have going on. This one is different ways. Also, the whole S shaming thing that issue is just going to be going away. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next live stream as well, which will be tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Also, if you're not a member, definitely think about joining. There's conversations that we do have in the members that we don't generally talk about in the regular live stream and stuff. And they're really good. They're really good. So especially the last Sunday's one was good. Did a collab with me, DC, and Kyrie's Clark. He also has his own channels. Definitely check him out as well. We had a really good conversation. So if you're not a member, definitely join and check out that live. It was really good. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.